Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, this is once again an edition, but this is just the title kind of says that. One thing is that it's good stretch of the point. Here's some history of the second thing. It's a paraphrase of the topic. And on the right, French Christian beings of course, these investments for everybody, someone else actually said just now, us growing much just last year, November the 6th, 2016. This is the first pledge to the foundation of this country, and celebrate a multitude of things that can be just unknown unlikely that all people have the right to live without restriction, to the freedom of speech and multitude of countries and multiple cultures. We got not only okay, this is. I have to. Once again, understand what and obviously avoid and wisdom. So, of course, just be aware of this. Of course, I will trust you. That once again, I run into type of not just with the type of building, creating, and type of got it. Has to, must. Key points of this: love, wisdom, understanding, patience, action, responsibility, resilience, determination, focus, drive, manifestation, will, desire, peace, wisdom, discernment, ultimate care, stability, abundance, sustainability, flexibility, courage. These are not just words. These are words that not only are the of boundaries and this is not just that. This is to reconvince in the word that was potential. So I think it's hard to build to continue such beautiful culture true resilience and culture and true capacity. So I only learned about each of these absolutely punishing that's the most virtuous, the grandest, renaissanistic, golden age of all things. This is exactly what we are on track. Absolutely. To have yourself fully self-sufficient as a plant, which is already one type of five. Type 12 these all Andromedans are many thousands of infinity lights out. Every single continent. Every single continent is focused on not only developing different but we of course have this honest opportunity to do that. Key points, which is actually because of what exists in different places around the world. This is grand, even just creative, just a beautiful, legendary, prestige, creative that's provided by creativity and of course efficiency. This of course grows opportunities also development and enlightenment, as we all know. To expand endlessly. It's not just a of course, we have a responsibility to address this problem. Explain to be of service to the lost culture, to Asia, to building of our and technical development, what was the foundation of the we do it ourselves to develop what's this very much is the defending and the broken progress, the blessings, securing the blessings of life. Which of course is true reason. It's very clear that we ultimately these this is foolish. Growth, of course, is just not great. As not just alive. But of course, not of all. It's just the smells and colors, fragrances, hues, even fragrances and flavors. And that's something of course I always do. That's always want to do something. Of course development of character. Special that we continue to not only seek word not as a magic from the land, and to live righteously in righteousness. Righteousness and virtuous and it's incredibly fantastic in not only its experiences, the heart and life fantastic. An example of how to uphold the virtues and the virtuous. And to be respectful, balance. Okay. Capacity, which is ultimately energy. So, couple of what do you think of the Langan faith? Couple A, it is quite lucky. Jack Glenn Kent called just as Jack Glenn Kent are writing with a very hot, very negative and men black. Narayana in like man. Gang kids are writing with a real hot, of fouls and ways and non-white. Mahadeva. With this edition, Gangkit wears a linga of stone covered with silver or gold uniforms that even before he drinks water, he shows it to the linga and mountain car feet. And the Gangkit's views of that are free. She takes Couple A are the Brahman, Simon, Nash, and Rathmal, some large people on one path. Couple A, their belief system. Their belief system has a few good points, and many that are objectionable. Couple O, Brahmin Samaj and the Orthodox Samaj are the best of all, as their principles are very good. Couple A, the principles are not altogether good, since it is impossible that the work of man ignorant and notice could ever be altogether good. The good points are: 1. They have saved a small number of people from embracing Christianity. 2. They have helped to abolish idolatry to some extent. 3. They have freed people to some extent from the shackles of false books. The objectionable points are: The people belonging to these Samaritans are very much wanting in patriotism, have imitated the Christians in many things, have even altered the rules and regulations governing marriage and eating and drinking with others, let alone being proud of the country and greatness of their forefathers and run down to their heart's content law for Christians and Europeans to disguise in their lectures. They not only never mention the names of Brahma and other sages in their discourses of the old, but on the other hand say that since the creation there have never been men so learned as the Europeans. The people of Aryavata in this instance from his books. Continuing. Since the creation, there had never been men so learned as the Europeans, people of Aryavata in open classes and beyond places have always been ignorant and have only practice. But freely go on speaking well of the Vedas and the Shastras, they have not even kept aloof from speaking ill of them. In the sacred books of the Brahmo-Samaj, the names of Christ, Moses, Muhammad, Enoch, and Chaitanya are mentioned in the list of holy men, and not a single name from among the sages and seers of the past. One can easily infer from this that these people hold the same beliefs as of the top, by those whose names are recorded in them. Sacred book is holy men, and these are born have lived on its products and are still doing the same. Yet they have renounced the religion of their forefathers and are instead inclining too much towards foreign religions, call themselves scholars, while they are quite destitute of indigenous Sanskrit learning and pluming themselves on their knowledge of English. Have been so precipitate and finding on the religion. Now how can these things conduce to lasting happiness and progress of mankind? Therefore they eat and drink most indiscriminately, they even eat and drink with things Mohammedans and outcast people and by God and again division of animals into such classes as horses, elephants, and of trees into such classes as Ficus, Religiosa, Mango, and of birds into swan sparrows, herons, and the like, and of water creatures into fish, crocodiles as God made, and the like manner divisions God, and into birds, Shreyas, Vaishreyas, and Shudras is God. Open questions, but this does not mean that men are born as Brahmins, Kshatriyas, etc. It only means that in every community men naturally fall into four heads: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, close braces. The system of classes and orders should be instituted in accordance with what has been written before, in other words, mentioned. Be divided into different classes according to their respective temperaments, attributes, qualifications, and merits. Now, this is the work of man himself, and taken said that this distinction of classes is man-made. It is the duty of the king and the good and to examine all men thoroughly, and then place every one of them into one of the four classes, according to his qualifications and merits. These are the differences of food are God made and man-made. For instance, the lion is a carnivore, whilst the rhinoceros is a vegetarian. This difference in their foods is God-made, but the differences in food among men vary with the customs and the manners of different countries and ages. These differences are man-made. Capital O, look at the Europeans. They wear boots, jackets, and trousers, live in hotels, and eat of the hands of all. These are the causes of their advancement. Capital A, this is a delusion, since the Mohammedans and low-caste people also eat of the hands of everyone, and yet they are so. Backward, the causes of their advancement are the custom of child marriage does not prevail among them. 2, they give their boys and girls sound training and education. 3, they choose their own life partners. And such marriages are called swamvara, because of nature's as well. Consort, 4, they do not allow their children to associate with bad people. Being well educated, they do not fall into the snares of any undisciplined person. 5, whatever they do after discussing it thoroughly among themselves and referring to their respective assemblies. 6, they sacrifice everything. They walk their hearts, their very lives for the good of their nation. 7, they are not indolent, on the contrary, they live active lives. 8, they allow boots and shoes made in their country, open parentheses, or those made after their pattern in this country, close parentheses, to be taken into courts and offices, but never Indian shoes. This must suffice to convince you that they value their boots much more than do the natives of many other countries. They have been in this country for more than 100 years in their life, and yet they wear they have been in this country for more than 100 years, and yet they wear thick clothing as they used to do at home. Up to this day, they have not changed the fashion of the country, but many know you have copied their dress. This shows that you are foolish while they are wise. No wise man will imitate others blindly. Open parentheses, close parentheses. 10. Everyone among them does his duty most faithfully. 11. They always obey the orders. Open parentheses of their superiors, close parentheses. 12. They help their countrymen in trade. Comment, etc. It is the possession of such strong qualities and the doing of such noble deeds that have contributed to the advancement of the Europeans. They have not become great by wearing boots, shoes, and eating in hotels and doing such other ordinary things, or by doing evil things. Besides, caste distinctions are also to be found among them whenever a European, however high his rank or station in life may be, marries a girl of non-European parentage, or one whose religion is different from his own, or when a European girl marries a non-European, they stop all intercourse with him or her. He or she is an outcast. They do not invite him or her to their social functions, nor do they eat at the same table with him or her, nor do they have such relations as acknowledge birthdays for her children, but are these, if not caste distinctions, let us lead you simpletons by saying that there are no caste distinctions among them, and you, through your simplicity, are even foolish enough to believe what they say. Hence, whatever you do, do it after giving it a most careful thought and attention, so that you may not have to repent of it afterwards. It is a sick man that needs a physician and his medicines, but not one who is in good health. An enlightened man is like a healthy man, while an ignorant man is like one who is afflicted with disease. His disease is ignorance. To cure him of this disease, the teaching and preaching of truth and the imparting of true knowledge are the proper remedies. Through their ignorance, the orthodox imagine that religion consists in regulation, eating and drinking alone. Whenever they find a person conducting himself improperly in the matter of eating and drinking, they at once infer and say that he is polluted, and forthwith cease to pay any attention to what he says and to associate with him. Now pray tell us whether your knowledge is for your selfish good or for the good of others. Of course, it would have been for the good of others, had those ignorant people profited by it. It cannot be true. You are to blame and not they, because had you behaved properly, they would have loved you and consequently profited by your knowledge. You have sought after your happiness and consequently destroyed the good of thousands. You have greatly sinned in doing so, since it is a sin to do others harm, while it is meritorious to promote public good. Hence it behooves an enlightened man to conduct himself properly and help the ignorant to cross the ocean of misery. You should not act like a fool. On the contrary, you should act in such a manner as will help you, as well as others, to make some progress every day. O. We do not believe that any book is revealed by God or contains nothing but truth, since no man is infallible. All books made by him must be fallible. Hence, we accept truth from all quarters and reject untruth. Truth, be that in the Veda, the Bible, or the Quran, is acceptable to us, but not untruth found in any book. A. That which helps you to embrace the truth will also cause you to accept untruth. Then all men are fallible, you being none cannot be otherwise. Consequently, whatever you say or write cannot be altogether true, hence you cannot be entirely dependent upon. This being the case, your beliefs deserve to be rejected like the food which is mixed with poison. No one can, therefore, accept your sacred book as authoritative. You are no more omniscient than others, hence occasionally you would, through error of judgment, be liable to reject the truth and accept an untruth. 8. Therefore, it behooves us all, whose nature and knowledge are finite, to lean on the word of the infinite, omniscient, omnipotent, Supreme Spirit, as we have stated in the 7th chapter of this book, which treats of the Vedas as linear books. You should also believe the same, otherwise the proverb, quote, lost on one side as well as on the other, unquote, will be applicable to you when truth and nothing but truth is to be found in the Vedas. You do yourselves as well as others harm in hesitating to accept some open parentheses as the supreme authority in the ascertainment of truth, close parentheses. This is the reason that the people of this country, open parentheses, are Yavarta, close parentheses, not look upon you as their own, open parentheses, flesh and blood, close parentheses. You have not been of any help in the advancement of your country, as you beg from door to door, have borrowed a few religious beliefs, open parentheses, truths, close parentheses, from Muhammadans and a few others from the Christians, and so on. You think that by doing so you will be able to do good to yourselves as well as to others, but that you will never be able to do, just as if the parents of a child were to take upon themselves to curse all the children in the world, it will be impossible for them to succeed in it. On the contrary, they will lose even their own children, open parentheses, their own children will die from want of care, close parentheses, comma. The same is true of you. Now how can you test the truth or error of your beliefs or bring about the advancement of your country without accepting the Vedas and the Shastras as the supreme authority? You have Okay. Going on. You have no remedy for the disease this country suffers with you. The Europeans do not care for you, whilst the natives of this country look upon you as followers of an alien religion. Even now it is not too late for you to recognize your mistake and further the cause of your country with the help of the Vedas and other true Shastras when you hold that all truths come from God, why don't you then accept the truths embodied in the Vedas revealed to the sages by God? Since you have neither read the Vedas nor have any desire to do so, how can you profit by the knowledge embodied in them? 6. You believe in the creation of the world without a material cause, and also that the soul was created just as the Christians and Mohammedans do. We have discussed the subject in the 7th and 8th chapters of this book and shown therein that this position is quite untenable. It is altogether impossible for an effect to come into being without a cause, and it is equally impossible for a created object not to cease to exist. 7. Another objection against your faith is that you believe in the forgiveness of sins through prayer and repentance. This doctrine is responsible for the increase of sin in this world. For, according to Puranas, a man can be rid of his sins by making pilgrimage to holy places, according to Jainis, by muttering the mantras called Navakar and making pilgrimage, open parentheses, to sacred places, close parentheses, according to the Christians by, open parentheses, believing, close parentheses, in Christ, and according to the Mohammedans by saying, quote, I repent, end quote. There being nothing in these faiths to deter people from the commission of sins, the tendency towards sinful life has greatly increased. You are quite like the Puranics in this respect. Had you read the Vedas or heard them being read, you would have known that no sin can be remitted till one has suffered for it. This would have deterred you from sinning and caused you to tread the path of righteousness. If one could be free of his sins without having previously suffered for them, God would stand guilty of being unjust. 8. You believe in the eternal progress of the soul. Now this belief is altogether untenable, since the finite nature, attributes, and actions of the soul can only produce finite results. Capital O. God, being merciful, can award infinite merit for finite actions. Capital A. Should he do so, his justice will be destroyed. Besides, no one will make any progress in the practice of virtue, because even a few good works will suffice to produce infinite results. Such doctrines as the forgiveness of sins, however numerous, through repentance and prayer, lead to the increase of sin and decay of virtue. Capital O. We believe that the intuitive knowledge is even superior to the Vedas. Had there been no intuitive knowledge given to us by God, how could we have learned the Vedas and taught them to others? Hence our faith is very good. capital A. This is all nonsense. The knowledge given by another cannot be called intuitive. What is intuitive is natural, it is neither increase nor decrease, nor can it help anyone to make any progress, since the savages also possess this intuitive knowledge, and yet they have not made any progress. The acquired knowledge alone is the cause of progress. Now, mark you, exclamation point. All of us during our childhood did not possess accurate knowledge of right and wrong, virtue and vice, but after having studied under our learned teachers, we were enabled to distinguish between right and wrong, virtue and vice. Hence it is wrong to hold that intuitive knowledge is all sufficient. 9. You must have copied the Christians and the Mohammedans in your disbelief in the pre-existence of the soul and its rebirth, open parentheses, after death, close parentheses. For a full discussion on the subject, the 7th chapter of this book may be consulted, wherein you have refuted various objections urged against this doctrine of open parentheses, metempsychosis, close parentheses. You should understand that the soul is eternal, open parentheses, beginningless and endless, close parentheses. Its actions also must be eternal, like the flow of a river. The doer and the deed are eternally related to each other. Open parentheses, the relation between the doer and the deed is indissoluble. Close parentheses. Was the soul, then, sitting idle before its present birth, or will it remain idle after death? Question mark. If your belief be pushed to its logical conclusion, it will end in showing that even God, open parentheses, will be, close parentheses, idle, open parentheses, after the present creation, close parentheses. Disbelief in the previous existence of the soul and its rebirth after death attributes to God the injustice of conferring benefits or inflicting suffering for deeds never done, and of depriving the soul of the fruits, pleasure or pain of its labor respectively. For if there were no rebirth of the soul after death, all the deeds done in this life will bear no fruit, open parentheses, be lost, close parentheses, since the fruits of virtuous or sinful acts done in this life cannot be reaped till the soul is re-embodied. And again, how can it be consistent with justice of God to bestow happiness or inflicting suffering on the soul during his life? If it had had no previous life, and therefore had not done any deeds to merit reward or punishment. If it were otherwise, if the pleasure of pain in this life be not awarded in accordance with one's deeds done during his previous life, God will be guilty of injustice, and besides, the deeds done in this life will go unawarded, as the soul will not be re-embodied. Therefore, it is not right not to believe in the doctrine of metempsychosis. 10. It is also wrong on your part not to believe in other devas, such as those objects that possess useful and brilliant qualities, or learned men besides God, because God is called Mahadeva, or the Lord of all devas. How would he have been called Mahadeva had there been two devas? 11. It is also not good of you not to regard the performance of Homa Other useful acts that promote public good as duties incumbent on every individual. 12. It is also not right on your part not to feel grateful to the sages and seers of yore who have conferred so many benefits on mankind and instead inclined so much towards Christ. Comic 7-13. The belief that the various kinds of knowledge, science, and philosophy, the effect, came into existence without the help of the Vedas, the source of all light and knowledge. The cause is altogether untenable. 14. It is also absurd to do away with the Yajnopavita, this open parentheses, the sacred thread, close parentheses, and Chika, open parentheses, the symbolic tuft of hair on the scalp, close parentheses. Signs of learning that distinguish the literate twice-born classes from the illiterate Shudras and become like Mohammedans and the Christians when you dress in English clothes to look respectable and educated and seek medals, etc. Has the Yajnapravita and Sikha become too cumbersome for you? 15. There have been many good and learned men since the time of Brahma. You never say a word in their praise, while you are never tired of singing the praises of the Europeans. Now, what would you call it but flattery and prejudice? 16. It is self-contradictory to believe that the soul was the result of the union of the inanimate with the animate, just as a sprout comes out as the result of the union of the seed with the soil. To deny its existence before it was created, and then to say that, though created, it shall never cease to exist. If there was nothing animate or inanimate besides God before creation, where did the soul come from? Whose union took place, open parentheses, which resulted in the production of the soul? Of course, it will be alright if you were to believe that the soul and matter are eternal. Parentheses, beginningless. But this will go against your belief that before the creation of the world, nothing but God existed. Hence, if you are anxious for the advancement of your country, you would do well to join the Arya Samaj and conduct yourselves in accordance with its aims and objects. Otherwise, you, open parentheses, will simply waste your lives, close parentheses, and gain nothing in the end. It behooves us all to lovingly devote ourselves with all our heart, with all our wealth, and even with our lives to the good of our country, the land of our birth, the land on the products of which we have lived, the land which sustains us still and will continue to do so in the future. No other Samaj or society can equal the Arya Samaj in its power to raise Aryavarta. It will be a very good thing, indeed, if you would all help this Samaj, as the capability of a Samaj or society to do good depends not on any single individual, but on all the members that support it. Capital O. You have all along been refuting everybody. All religions are good, hence it is not good to criticize anyone, open parentheses, of them, close parentheses. Why do you tell us this is better than what others teach? Even if you do, has there been no one equal to you or greater than you? It does not become you to be so vain. In this universe created by God, there are men of all grades. Let no one, therefore, harbor deceit. Capital A. Does the same Dharma, open parentheses, religion, close parentheses, hold good for all? If you say no, we ask, are the different religions opposed to each other or otherwise? If you answer they are opposed to one another, one of them can only be true. But if you ever that they are in harmony with each other. It is useless to have different names. It follows, therefore, the same Dharma, open parentheses, religion, close parentheses, and adharma, irreligion, hold good for all. This is what we teach this is what we teach differently from others. If an emperor were to make a list of all the different religions extant in the world, they would not be less than 1,000, but the chief among them are only 4 in number. The Puranic, the Christian, the Jain, or the Buddhistic, and the Mohammedan. All other sects are included in these 4. If he should now turn and inquire after truth and ask a Vamamarji, Reverend Sir, ! I have never had a preceptor before, nor embraced any religion yet. Tell me, pray, which you think is the best religion in the world, so that I should embrace it. Our religion is the best. Inquirer, what do you think of the remaining 999? They are all false and lead their followers to hell. It is also written, quote, there is no religion higher than the Vamamarj, close quote. Inquirer, what is your religion? Question mark. It consists in believing in the goddess Bhagavati and using 5 things beginning with the letter M, such as mans, which is meat, madra, wine, etc., and holding the 64 tantras, such as Rudrayamal, as sacred books. If you want to be saved, embrace our faith and become our disciple. Inquirer, all right, I will see other holy men as well and make inquiries about their religion. I will afterwards embrace the religion in which I have greatest faith and for which I feel the greatest love. Oh my good man, ! Why are you in doubt? These people will mislead and ensnare you into their nets. Don't you go to any other religionist. Take refuge in our faith or you will repent. Mark you! Our faith holds out the prospect of enjoyment and sensual pleasures, as well as the hope of salvation. Inquirer, well, anyhow, I will inquire into this question. Open parentheses from others, close parentheses. He then went to a Shaivite and put him the same question as he had done to the Vamamarj, who gave him the same sort of answer as the latter had done, with this addition that without believing in Shiva, wearing Rudraksha, and smearing the body with ashes, and worshipping Phalas, no one could be saved. He left the Shaivite and went to a Neo-Vedanist and addressed him thus, tell me, O Reverend Sir, ! What is your Dharma? ? Close quote. Neo-Vedanists, we do not believe in religion or irreligion. We believe ourselves to be God. We cannot be affected by religion or irreligion. The whole world is an illusion. Shouldst thou desire to be possessed of true wisdom and pure consciousness, get it out of thy mind that thou art soul. Believe thyself to be Brahma, God, and thou shalt be saved forever. Inquirer, if you are Brahma, open parentheses, God, close parentheses, who is eternally free, why don't you possess the nature, attributes, and characteristics of Brahma? And why are you not imprisoned? Why are you imprisoned in this open parentheses human close parentheses body? ? Neo-Vedanist, thou seest the body while I don't. This is because thou art in ignorance. We see nothing but Brahma. Inquirer, who are you that see, and whom do you see? Question mark. Neovadinist. It is Brahma that sees, and Brahma sees Brahma. Inquirer, are there two Brahmas then? Neovadinist. No, Brahma sees his own self. Inquirer, can anyone stand on his own shoulders? There is no sense in what you say. You talk like a madman. He then went further and inquired from Jainis what they thought was the true religion. They answered in the same fashion as the other three had done, but with this addition that, quote, all other religions but the Jain are false. There is no eternal God, the maker of this world. The world has been eternally existing as it is and will continue to exist forever. Come, become our disciples, since we are all good in all respects, and all our doctrines are true. All faiths except the Jain are false. End quote. Then he proceeded further and put the same question to a Christian, as he had done to others, who answered him in the same strain as the Vamamarga, but with this addition that, quote, all men are sinners and cannot free themselves from sin by their own exertions. No one can be saved until he has been purified through faith in Christ, who revealed, open parentheses, his infinite, close parentheses, mercy by sacrificing his life by way of atonement for the sins of mankind. Come and become a Christian. Having heard this, he went to a Maulvi, a Muhammadan priest, and asked him the same question. He gave him the same answer as the others had done, with this addition that no one could obtain salvation without believing in one God incomparable without a second, his prophet and the Holy Quran. Whosoever refused to believe in this religion would go to hell. He was an infidel and deserved to be put to the sword, quote. He then went to a Vaishnavite and had the same sort of conversation with him, who also added that even Yamaraj, open parentheses, king of death, close parentheses, quote, trembles with fear at the sight of our tilak and chap, close quote. The inquirer thought in his mind, quote, well, if these things had no terror for mosquitoes, police constables, thieves and robbers, and one's enemies, why should the messengers of death fear them? Question mark, close quote. As he went further, he found that every religion is called his own religion the best and the truest. One said that his religious teacher, Kabir, was the true prophet. Another said that Nanak was the greatest teacher. Another said that Balabaha was the greatest among men. He was God incarnate, whilst others said the same of Sajjan and Madhava and etc. Having questioned all those thousand religionists and found that they were all opposed to each other, he came to the conclusion that there was not one among them whose religion he could embrace, as there were 999 witnesses against every one of them, open parentheses, who could swear that he was wrong, close parentheses. They were no better than the lying shopkeepers, prostitutes, and buffoons who bragged about their own commodities, open parentheses, at the expense of others, close parentheses, and cried down others. And he thought in those verses of the Upanishad, which say, quote, let a seeker after truth then repair to a preceptor, well versed in the Vedas, who has realized God, with a suitable present in his hands. and avoid the snares of hypocrites. He should initiate such an inquirer as is possessed of self-control, contentment, and tranquility of mind into the truly divine science, which treats of the nature, attributes, and characteristics of God, and do all in his power to teach him what means he should adopt to learn the true nature of righteousness, wealth, legitimate desires, emancipation, and God. End quote. When he met such a man, he addressed him thus, quote, "O reverend sir," exclamation mark, "my mind is greatly perplexed by the wrangling of these various sects. Should I become the follower of one of these, I shall make the remaining 999 my enemies. How can one be happy who has 999 enemies and only one friend? Teach me, sir, what I should accept." End quote. The true teacher. All these religions are the product of ignorance. They are the enemies of knowledge, misled the ignorant, the foolish, and the unenlightened, and ensnare them into their nets, and thereby gain their selfish ends. These poor ignorant people miss the object of their lives and waste them, and whenever they agree with each other, know that to be the Vedic religion worthy of being accepted, but in whenever they all disagree, know that to be wrong, false, sinful, and acceptable. Inquirer, how am I to test what you say? Question mark. The true teacher, you go and ask them all the following questions. They will be unanimous in their answers. Thereupon the seeker after truth went to the assembly of 1,000 religionists and said with a loud voice, "All, quote, all you people, exclamation mark, lend me your ears, tell me, pray, whether it is Dharma, open parentheses, right, close parentheses, to speak the truth or otherwise, close quote." They all answered with one voice, open quote, quote, "It is right, open parentheses, Dharma, close parentheses, to speak the truth, and wrong, adharma, to tell a lie," close quote. Similarly, on being questioned, they declared unanimously that Dharma, or true religion, consisted in acquiring knowledge, controlling sensual passions, marrying in the full bloom of life, associating with others while it was irreligion to remain ignorant, become a slave of the senses, commit adultery, keep bad company, be dishonest in dealings, practice fraud and hypocrisy, bear malice and do harm to others. Thereupon he asked him, then, why don't you agree in this manner and advance the cause of true religion, and eradicate false religions? They replied, should we do so, who will care for us? Our disciples will leave us, won't obey us, we shall lose our livelihood. We are now enjoying ourselves, all this enjoyment will be lost to us. Therefore, even when we know what true religion is, we continue to teach our false sectarian religion. Start the sentence over. We are now enjoying ourselves, all this enjoyment will be lost to us. Therefore, even when we know what true religion is, we continue to teach our false sectarian religious and refuse to abjure falsehood and embrace the true religion, acting on the proverb, cheat the world with your cunning and enjoy yourself. Look here, exclamation point, it is like this. No one in this world gives anything to a man who is honest and true, nor does anybody care for him. But he that resorts to hypocrisy and fraud lives in plenty. Close quote. Inquirer, why does not the king punish you for swindling others by means of fraudulent practices? Question mark. We have made even the king our disciple, so you see, our arrangements are perfect, none shall escape us. Inquirer, you rob others through fraud and thereby injure them. What answer will you give to your God? Question mark. You will undoubtedly fall into an awful hell. You commit such sins for enjoying yourselves for this short span of human life. Why can't you give up these frauds? Question mark. Response, or R. When that happens, we shall see what hell we fall into or what punishment God inflicts on us, but now we enjoy ourselves. Why should the king punish us when we do not take anything from others by force? The people give us wealth of their own free will. Inquirer, you are just as punishable as a man who robs a child by coaxing him, for it is said, he who is ignorant is a child. He who is wise is called a father or an old man. End quote. Whosoever is learned and wise does not fall into your snares, but the ignorant who are like children fall an easy prey to your trickery and fraud. You ought to be punishable by law for defrauding them. R. You can punish us when both the ruler and the ruled are our followers. When our profession is made punishable by law, we will change our program and make a different one. Inquirer, you now sit idle and swindle others. Would it not be to your good as well as to that of the householders if you would pass your time in acquiring knowledge and teaching their children? Question mark. Or why should we give up long life pleasures past our childhood and youth in acquiring knowledge and the rest of our lives in teaching and preaching? Question mark. What shall we gain by it? We can now get hundreds and thousands of rupees without doing anything, live in ease and comfort and enjoy ourselves. Why should we give up this easy life? Question mark. Inquirer, but it has awful consequences. You are afflicted with terrible diseases, die young, are looked down upon by the wise, and yet you don't understand. R. Friend! Exclamation point. You are a mere child yet, and do not understand the world. Nothing can be done without money. No religion can exist without money. No good works can be performed without money, and no salvation obtained without money. He who has no money always talks of money. Look at the good things of, open parentheses, this world, close parentheses, with avidity and sighs. His imagination runs in this strain. Alas! Exclamation point. I have no money. I wish I had money to enjoy all these things. All men hear of the indivisible, all-powerful being described as possessed of powers, but no one has seen him. On the other hand, the rupee of 16 ANNAS 1, I don't know how to pronounce that, is the real and visible God. Hence it is that everyone is engaged in the pursuit of making money, since all things can be accomplished with the help of money. Inquirer, at last the cat is out of the bag, and we know you in your true colors. All this fraud that you have set up is for your selfish gain, but it tends to ruin the world. Just as preaching of truth benefits the world, so does teaching of untruth injure it. When what you want is only wealth, why don't you engage yourselves in trade and make your pile? R. But then we shall have to work hard and run some risks of loss as well. While now in our present trade, it is all profit and no loss. Now mark, we make nectar water by putting a small branch of the
holy basil in a jug of water and give a few drops of it to a man. A string of beads around his neck. Make him, open parentheses, make him our chela, close parentheses, or disciple. He is like a beast of burden for us as long as he lives. We can, then, drive him about as we like. Inquirer, what do these people give you all this money for? R. For acquiring virtue, dharma, entering heaven and attaining salvation. Inquirer, when you are not yourselves saved, nor know the nature of salvation, nor the way to attain it, what would they get who serve you? R. Is the reward for service ever to be got in this world? No, sir! They are compensated for it. Open parentheses in the next world. Close parentheses. Their reward will be commensurate with their services. Open parentheses to us. Close parentheses here. Inquirer, whether they will get anything in return for their services or not. Open parentheses is rather doubtful. Close parentheses. What I should like to know is what will you, who accepted their services and money, get? Hell or something else? We devote ourselves to prayers, we shall gain happiness in consequence thereof. Let me rephrase that. R. We devote ourselves to prayers, we shall gain happiness in consequence thereof. Inquirer, all your prayers are for gold, which will all be left here after death, and even the lump of flesh, human bodies, which you nourish so fondly, will be open parentheses, cremated, close parentheses, and reduced to ashes, and remain here. Had you worshipped God, open parentheses, instead of mammon, close parentheses, your hearts would have been pure. R. Are we impure then? Inquirer, your hearts are very impure indeed. R. How do you know that? Inquirer, from your conduct and dealings, open parentheses, with others, close parentheses. R. The conduct of great men is like the teeth of an elephant. He has one set of teeth to eat with, while another set tusks for show. In like manner, we are pure at heart, but outwardly we resort to these fraudulent practices by way of diversion. Inquirer, had you been pure at heart, you would have been upright in dealing with others, but you are not so, hence you have a very dirty interior. R. We may be anything but our followers at least are good. Inquirer, like masters, like pupils. R. There can never be one religion for all mankind, for people differ so much in their nature, temperaments, and characteristics. Inquirer, if all were educated alike in childhood and would practice righteousness, such as truthfulness in speech, and abhor unrighteousness, such as untruthfulness in speech, they would all certainly be of one religion. It is true, though, that there will always be two kinds of men, righteous and unrighteous, but that does not matter. As long as the righteous outnumber the unrighteous, there is happiness in the world. But when the unrighteous preponderate, suffering and misery increase. Where all good and learned men to teach alike, there will be one religion among all men in no time. R. It is the Kali Yuga, open parentheses, Iron Age, close parentheses, now. Don't you expect things of the Satya Yuga, open parentheses, Golden Age, close parentheses, in this age? Kali Yuga. name of a period of time. Time is actionless. It cannot be a factor in the causation of righteousness or unrighteousness. You yourselves are the incarnations of Kali Yuga. Virtue and vice in men are not natural but the result of the influence of association, education and environment, etc. Having said this, he went to Apta, the true teacher, and addressed him thus: "O reverencer! You have indeed saved me. Otherwise, I should have fallen into the snares of one of these sects, S-E-C-T-S, and ruined my life. Now I will expose the fraud of these hypocrites and preach the true religion of the Vedas." End quote. The true teacher. This is indeed the duty of all men, especially of learned men and sannyasis, to teach all men how to defend truth and refute untruth, and thus by the preaching of truth promote public good. Capital O are the brahmacharis and sannyasis up to date. Good. Capital A, these two orders are good in principle, but there is a great deal of hypocrisy rampant even among them nowadays. There are many among them who assume the name of brahmachari, grow long matted hair, pretend to possess wonderful powers, but are engrossed in muttering the name of some deity and in rituals. They never even take the name of studying. They do not at all exert themselves for the study of that Brahma, Veda, which gives them the name of brahmachari. All these brahmacharis are as useless as their teats, loose flesh hanging from the neck of a goat. There are also any number of sannyasis who are destitute of knowledge and carry staffs and water, board symbols of the order with them, but do nothing to further the cause of the Vedic religion. Such men generally enter into sannyas when they are quite young, leave off their studies, and wander about begging from place to place. Such brahmacharis and sannyas waste their time in visiting sacred places, such as rivers, hills, temples, and stone benches, and paying homage to them. Do not preach even when they are well versed in learning, and find hypocrisy and false practices rampant in the land, eat and drink, and live in ease, not caring a brass farthing for their country. Sorry, it's getting very inky. They are engrossed in their little jealousies and feuds, revel each other, and conduct themselves improperly. Open parentheses in various other ways, close parentheses. It is thus that they pass their time. They seem to think that they are They seem to think that they have done their duty simply by wearing ochre dash-colored garments and carrying their staffs and water gourds, believe themselves to be superior to all, never do any good works. Such sannyasis live useless lives in this world. Of course, among them who are engaged in altruistic works are all right. Capital O are the Gurvis in the, I want to say that's Urus. I think that's Euris, and the Bartis and other Gosains. Good. They go about in groups, help thousands of sadhus to enjoy themselves, preach Vedanta, pantheism, wherever they go, and read and teach a little. Therefore they must be very good people indeed. Capital A. All these 10 names, such as Guri, Puri, etc., are not ancient, but of recent origin. They formed themselves into groups for the sake of getting good food. There are plenty of sadhus who join these companies for food only. They practice a great deal of hypocrisy as well. For instance, they make one of their company their Mahant, religious superior, who is also their headman. Every evening he sits on a raised cushioned seat. All the sadhus and Brahmins stand up before him with flowers in their hand, read such couplets as, quote, unto Narayana, Padamabha, Vayashita, Shakiti, Isan Parashar, Vyasa, Shika, and the great Valprida. And then shout, Hara Hara, God, or open parentheses, God, comma, God, close parentheses, comma, shower flowers on him and prostrate themselves before him. Whosoever does not want to do it finds it hard even to live among them. They practice all this hypocrisy for mere show, so that they may get a name for holiness in the world and thereby obtain plenty of money to enjoy themselves. There are any number of abbots, heads of convents or sacred places, who, though married, pride themselves on being sannyas. They do nothing useful. They do nothing, open parentheses, useful, close parentheses. They never perform the duties of sannyasis, Vide chapter 5, and simply waste their time. They even oppose one who gives them good advice. Mostly these people smear their bodies with ashes and wear rudraksha. Some of them are proud of belonging to the Shaiv sect. In religious discussions, they advocate Shaivism as taught by Shankara Tharya, and refute Chakrankitism. They never engage in advocating the Vedic religion nor in refuting false faiths. Sannyasis hold they have nothing to do with the advocacy of truth or the refutation of untruth, because they are great souls. Such people are a mere burden to the community. No wonder then that religions and sects opposed to the Vedas, such as the Vamamarg, Vamarg, the Christian and the Mohammedan, Mohammadan, have multiplied and are still on the increase, while they, open parentheses, the followers of the Vedic religion, close parentheses, themselves are being decimated, and yet their eyes won't open. But how is it possible, when there is no zeal in their hearts for promoting public good and doing their duties? These people set a higher value on their dinner than on anything else, are very much afraid of the censure of the world. Sannyasis are enjoined to abjure love of public praise. To abjure love of public applause, love of wealth and sensual enjoyments, and love of kith and kin and disciples. How can they be called sannyasis when they have not been able to renounce these passions? It is the paramount duty of a sannyasi to devote himself day and night to the promotion of the good and happiness of the world by impartial preaching of the Vedic religion. It is useless for them to call themselves sannyasis all day long, as they do not do the duties obligatory on their order. It is only when the sannyasis devote themselves to the promotion of public good more earnestly than do the householders, actuated by self-interest to their own affairs, that all orders remain progressive. Mark you, false faiths are increasing before your very eyes, the people are even turning Christians and Mohammedans, You do not make the least effort to protect your own people and convert others to your faith, the Vedic religion, ? You could do it only if you had a mind, open parentheses, to do it, close parentheses. As long as you sannyasis do not improve yourselves, the inhabitants of Aryavarta and other countries will not make any real progress. The country makes genuine progress only when the causes of advancement, such as the studying and the teaching of the Vedas and other true sastras, the keeping of the brahmacharya and other orders in good condition, and the preaching of truth, are in operation. Bear you sannyasis in mind. There are many false and hypocritical practices in vogue which you really know to be such. For instance, a sadhu with trading propensities declares himself to be a saint, open parentheses, siddha, close parentheses. He claims to possess miraculous powers such as making the childless women bear children. On hearing this, many women go to him and with folded palms pray for sons. The fraud of a saint blesses them all, saying, quote, "You shall bear sons," close quote. Whosoever among them bears a son attributes this happy event to the blessing of our saint. Poor woman, exclamation mark. What answer will she make if she were asked, quote, "By whose blessings did pigs, donkeys, bitches, and hens get their little ones, ? There are others who declare that they can bring the dead to life. The ignorant believe it to be true. Now, why should these people themselves die if they possess the power they pretend to? There are other rascals, who invent such cunning devices to deceive the cleverest. Take, for instance, the thugs of Dhanasari. They go to distant countries in parties of 5 or 7. Whoever among them looks robust and is of a taking appearance is appointed their ringleader. Henceforth, he is a siddha, open parentheses, saint, close parentheses. They place him in a sequestered place outside a rich town or village, and themselves go into the town and ask everyone who comes across their way if he has seen or heard such if he has seen or heard of such and such Mahatma, open parentheses, saint, close parentheses. They are asked, quote, "Who and of what kind is that?"
Mahatma, question mark was, they are asked, quote, who and of what kind is that Mahatma? Question mark, end quote. They answered, quote, he is a great saint. He can tell what passes in your mind, whatever you say comes to pass. He is the king of yogis. He has blessed the hearts of homes. In his guests we heard from someone that he had come this way, end quote. Close quote. The householder rejoins, quote, when you happen to meet that saint, please do not fail to inform me also of it. I shall also have the pleasure of seeing him and questioning him about my heart's desires, end quote. All day long we repeat the same story to anyone who meets them. At night they all assemble together at the rendezvous, eat and drink together and sleep in the same place. We get up in the morning and all the four accomplices of our sin again go into town and repeat the same story. This goes on for 2 or 3 days. Then they go to a rich man and tell him that they have found a saint, and if he has a desire to see him, they should take him to him. When he is about to accompany them, they ask him what he wants to inquire them. Open parentheses from the same close parentheses. He says that he wants to have a son or wealth, or to be cured of some disease, or to overcome an enemy day. Then take him to our saint and seek him according to him. Understanding right at between the saint and his apprentices. Thus, if the visitor be desirous of getting wealth, they seek him on the right of our saint. If of a son in front of him, if of getting cured of some disease on his left, if of overcoming his enemy, to bring him from behind and set him among those who are in front of him. This saint, the visitor salutes him. Our saint, power this powers presented large ones to thy keep, since in store hearing that thou hast come with the desire of getting a son. Quote, end quote, or, quote, do I keep bags full of gold here that thou hast come with the desire of getting wealth, and then decades never have wealth, quote, quote, am I a doctor that thou hast come with the desire of getting cured? I am not a doctor that has to cure thee. Go not to a doctor, quote. These ropes have also certain signs by means of which they indicate to the saint what relation the sick man bears to the visitor. For instance, if it be his father, one of the accomplices raises his thumb. If his mother, index finger, if his brother, middle finger, if his wife, ring finger, if his daughter, little finger, and if one son of king, must tell if his father, mother, brother, wife, or daughter, one visitor is quite captivated. The visitor is quite captivated by these answers. Scoundrels say to him, quote, is not he what you told me, parentheses, quote, is he not what you told me, question mark, quote, is likewise, quote, less, coming he in the same as you told me, coming, you have done me a great favor. I am indeed going to the hell. I have the pleasure of saying him, quote. Hereupon the Lord say, look here, hereupon the Lord say, quote, look here, brother, this saint is his own master. He is not open to slave and fear on his feet. Want to have his blessing, serve him with all your heart and soul. Wealth becomes of the son, but his service that was true should be kept. Please with the Lord, who knows what blessing he is. If not, you Proverbs says this quote, most inscrutable are the ways of saints. Quote, exclamation point, end quote. The visitor, having heard such soft and silky words, was highly pleased, and was pleased way back from praising the saint. The soldiers also bearing with him. Anyone should expose their folly. He also praised the Lord, saying, for his friends or other people who have to meet him. On the way, by and by, the news spreads all over the town, and then there is a great hullabaloo. Everyone is heard to say, quote, a great saint has come and put up at such and such a place. Let us go to see him. Quote, when people go there and put questions to the saint as to what their heartfelt desires are, all order being lost, he does not answer any question and remains quite silent except that he says, quote, pray don't tease me, quote, end quote. Thereupon all his accomplices begin to say, quote, if you tease me? I thought it's supposed to be tease. Quote, if you ease him anymore, he will go away, end quote. Sometimes a very rich man in the crowd takes one of the accomplices to one side and says, quote, let the saint tell me what passes in the morning, and I shall believe him to be a true one, quote. The swindler as so well at ease. The rich man tells him what his desire is. Comrade the swindler, comrade man, comrade takes him and seats him according to the above understanding. The saint at once tells him what his desire is. The whole crowd hears his answer, what it is in the mouth of everyone, that he is indeed a very great saint. Everyone brings an offering according to his position, such as sweets, copper, silver, gold, cloth, and flour. The swindler is fully studied as long as the bread is kept warm in the sun. Time wrestlers can come across one or two such men as have more money than quote, more money than brains, quote, who pay him 1,000 rupees or so in return for which he gives them a pinch of ashes and his blessings for a son in the following words, if thy devotion be true, thou shalt be the son, quote, quote, if thy devotion be true, thou shalt be the son, quote. There are many such things, there's many such things who can only be found by men of intelligence and enlightenment. The study of Vedas and association with the good and the learned enables one to escape the clutches of such swindlers, since the true visual order of man's knowledge. Without education and culture, there can be no enlightenment. They alone are entitled to become men. As well as who receive the education of family and life, while those who live in bad company become wicked and sinful, remain most foolish and thereby self-contented. Considers declare that knowledge is the highest thing in the world. Whosoever believes, it is said, whosoever does not know the merits or the properties of an object always runs it down just as it BHIL rejects the beautifully fragrant GNJA flowers and instead wears a round of GAJAMUKTS 2 A's in like manner. He alone who is named wise and virtuous and associates with the good is a yogi. Is studious, energetic, possesses self-control, and is gentle, reaps the fourfold fruit of human life, practice of righteousness, acquisition of wealth, gratification of legitimate desires, and attainment of salvation, and thereby lives in happiness here in this world as well as in the life to come. We have thus briefly discussed the religions of all the people of Aryavarta. We shall now publish further information of all the brief history that we have come across the Arya kings. Honestly, I'm going to do this one. The co-creation, the positive co-creation of this film, human co-creation. So I'm gonna end it here, but this was a very enlightening session, very teaching session. I shall do another good evening for you. Your host, Mr. Ford. This is my host, that. Teach.